Well, the Highway 127 yard sale, which we also call the world's longest yard sale, is underway.
It covers almost 700 miles across 6 states, starting in Michigan, and it runs down through our area all the way through Alabama. More than 2,000 vendors are taking part. The sale will last until Sunday.
Now the beagles. Let's take a look at these beagles. They were being housed at a breeding and testing facility. They are arriving in Chattanooga. Where are the beagles?
These are the Humane Society workers who were on their way to go pick them up.
Oh,
I don't think we have pictures of the beagles yet.
I was hoping they'd show a picture of a beagle.
I was too.
Anyway, these nice people are going to bring in beagles. They should arrive any minute. And beagles are really cute dogs. Just picture a beagle in your mind. If you're interested in adopting any of the beagles, you can apply on the HES website. They'll begin placing them in 2 weeks.
And we'll have pictures, we promise.
Yeah, I want to see beagles. Nothing against those ladies, they're beautiful. We have much more news ahead for you.
Local 3 News at 5 starts now.
This is Local 3 News at 5.
Thank you for choosing us for your Decision 2022 news and weather. I'm David Carroll.
And I'm Cindy Saxton. We continue our team coverage of Election Day in Tennessee. The polls will be open until 8 o'clock Eastern tonight.
So if you're about to go vote, you will need a valid photo ID issued by the state of Tennessee. You can visit our website to double check your polling site.
And we begin with the race for mayor in Hamilton County. Democrat Matt Adams and Republican Weston Wamp are vying to be Hamilton County's next mayor.
Mary Frances Hoots is live from the Election Commission with the latest on this race. It's been a hot one, Mary Frances.
Well, David, Cindy, as y'all just mentioned, it has gotten pretty heated in the last few weeks or so, and it's all drama surrounding the new Lookout Stadium, which is pretty much a done deal as of yesterday. Weston Wamp has been against it, and Matt Adams is for it. Now, the drama comes into play when Matt Adams got his hands on some emails late last week talking about Weston Wamp's association with the Lookouts years ago, saying he was for a stadium back then, and then was denied a job in the Lookouts organization, which is why Matt Adams believes he is now against it. County Commission approved the building of the new stadium yesterday, and now it has to go to the City Council for a vote. So that's pretty much a done deal. So it really doesn't matter either way which side the candidate is on for that. Now, a little bit of information on Weston Wamp. He comes from the business sector, and he has been a big proponent for public schools and investing heavily into Hamilton County schools and finding a path for people after high school graduation if they choose to not go to college, and big into vocational education and technical colleges. Matt Adams is for equitable investment in public schools and does not believe a student's zip code should determine the quality of education they receive. And he's been a big proponent for community engagement across all sectors of local government, and neither are for a tax increase. Take a listen to both candidates.
The county mayor's office is an extension of what I've dedicated my life to, which is public service. And I think that people have seen that. They've seen my background. They see through what's been going on the last few days, the last few weeks.
County government is a provider of essential services. And so it's one of the reasons why we don't talk about a lot of different distractions. We talk about county government blocking and tackling and doing the stuff that it is meant to do, but doing it really well. And if people will give us their vote, we'll wake up every morning and try to major in the majors and work on the most important stuff.
So we spoke to both of these candidates earlier today at different polling locations, and that's pretty much their agenda all evening long, is just making their rounds at different polling locations. So right now we're at the Hamilton County Election Commission, and the polls are open till 8 p.m. Both candidates are having their own watch parties, which we will be at the winning candidates watch party later on tonight at 11. David, Cindy.
All right, thanks, Mary Frances. Matt Adams, the Democratic candidate, says there's a text message going around to voters, and he calls it a trick by his opponent, Weston Wamp. Adams accused Wamp of sending this text message to Democratic voters that encourages them to vote for Wamp because Adams can't be trusted. You can find his full statement about that on our website.
And in response, Wamp's campaign team said while Weston Wamp was putting his children to bed on the eve of the election, his opponent was still sending desperate campaign press releases. You can read the full statements on our website.
Now to the district attorney race between Republican Cody Wamp and Democrat John Allen Brooks.
Local 3's Riley Nagel joins us live with the latest on that race. Riley.
Cindy, David, I'm here at Christ United Presbyterian Church, where Dozens of residents have been showing up to vote. Now, I also just got done speaking with Cody Wamp, who has been here campaigning. Now, she says she's the most qualified to be district attorney because she's the only candidate who's been a defense attorney, prosecutor, and worked with law enforcement. Wamp mentioned the county is ready for younger leadership. Now, I also spoke with John Allen Brooks today, who says the biggest difference between him and Wamp is his experience. He pointed out he's tried hundreds of cases. He's been to the U.S. Supreme Court and also the state Supreme Court. And though they both have their differences, they both say they want what's best for the county.
I don't think that they're trustworthy. I don't think that they're particularly honest. And I don't think the county needs something like that.
After practicing criminal defense for 40-something years, there's no way that a criminal defense attorney all of a sudden can sort of change their mindset to start protecting victims instead of criminals. And that's what we're going to do. We're always on the side of victims.
Stick with us to hear more from Brooks and Wamp, and we will be bringing you those election results later tonight. Reporting live in East Brainerd, I'm Riley Nagel, Local 3 News.
Thanks, Riley. It is also state primary election day. Governor Bill Lee is the only Republican on the ballot. There are 3 Democratic candidates, J.B. Smiley, Jason Martin, and Carnita Atwater. The general election will pit one of these candidates against Governor Lee, and that'll be November 8th.
And if you are planning to vote this evening, you may worry about whether or not it's going to rain.
Here's Cedric Haynes with the forecast.
Yeah, good evening, guys. We got a couple of pop-up showers and downpours out there, but we're not looking at anything that's widespread heading into portions of Hamilton County. So if you need to get out there and vote, you definitely should be able to do that. And just be aware there could be a brief downpour that can move through at some point later on this evening here. Temperatures, you can see a kind of a smattering of numbers out there on the map. 84 in Athens, 85 Blue Ridge, 87 in Murphy, but we have 89 in Chattanooga, 90 in Dalton, and 88 degrees in Scottsboro, 87 degrees currently in Fort Payne. Now, so look at the radar picture again. Most of us are fairly quiet, but again, some hit or miss showers still showing up out there across parts of the area. Let's go in and show you some of this. Some of the largest activity right now over southern portions of Walker County between Tryon and over towards the Lafayette area. This continues to drift to the north, so we'll watch this. We had one batch a little earlier, made its way through Chickamauga, now making its way across the Tennessee line, but notice it's falling apart as it does so. But again, we'll keep an eye on that for you as we go throughout the evening. And again, a couple of downpours here showing up over portions of Grundy County, heading up towards Van Buren County, but again, nothing that's going to be too extreme for us. So the biggest shower that we have out there right now on Future Scan, you can see that making its way up towards the Ringgold area here as we go into the next hour or so. So again, we'll watch radar closely. Could be some hit or miss showers popping up, but we're not expecting a lot of widespread rainfall to show up out there if you got any evening plans. So 20%, maybe up to a 30% chance of an isolated downpour or two moving through your neighborhood. Would not cancel any of your evening plans because of that, but just know, again, you may have to briefly move inside. Upper 80s, dropping into the lower 80s as we go throughout this evening. Overnight tonight, we'll head down into the upper 60s to lower 70s. Lower 70s in the valleys, will be in the upper 60s in the higher elevations. Any showers should fade on out, but tomorrow they will redevelop across the area into the afternoon hours. Again, about a 30% chance of some of those hit or miss showers and storms popping up with highs right around that 90-degree mark or so as we go throughout the afternoon hours. So as we look at your weather story here, we're talking about daily heat along with the chance of those pop-up showers and storms. It's going to turn a little wetter for us as we go into the weekend. We'll talk more about those rain chances, and potentially a stronger front could be moving our way as we get into next week. I'll let you know what that will mean for our forecast heading into next week in just a few moments, guys.
All right, Cedric, thank you. Coming up on Local 3 News at 5, why a property tax increase could be on the table in Catoosa County.
Catoosa County, Georgia residents could see an increase in their property taxes for the first time in 6 years.
Dallas Payton joins us now in the studio with more. Dallas?
Cindy, David, inflation has caused this increased proposal. The needs and costs for public safety and county services have skyrocketed for the Catoosa County government. The maximum level of property tax increase Catoosa County Board of Commissioners are looking at right now is 1.75 mils. That means a person with a home value of $175,000 will cost them about an extra $117, according to Catoosa County spokesperson John Pless. Pless says the current and proposed property tax is the lowest among other Northwest Georgia counties.
The citizens we've heard for, of course, they're not happy with hearing about a possible increase on property taxes. Again, we understand that a lot of people are concerned of anything going up. You know, we have all experienced higher gasoline prices, higher grocery prices, prices for goods and services continue to climb.
Hourly and salary demands are growing as well. The county is now having to make their salary more competitive, especially in public safety departments, since pay doesn't compare with other nearby counties. There will be 3 public hearings later this month before a final decision is made. In studio, Dallas Payton, Local 3 News.
Thanks, Dallas. Coming up, we'll preview that heated District 6 County Commission race featuring David Sharp versus Ruth Janot.
And David, we're looking at isolated pop-up showers and storms today, and that will continue into our Friday, but increasing rain chances, the potential of some heavy rainfall as we get into the weekend. I have the latest on how much we could see. That's coming up.
Local 3 Traffic, presented by CHI Memorial. A team of stroke specialists offer comprehensive neurovascular services, including advanced care for stroke, aneurysm, brain and spine tumors, and other neurologic conditions. Learn more at memorial.org/stroke.
Rush hour delays, get ready for those if you travel I-24 near the Tennessee-Georgia state line. Also 24 still pretty heavy as you move from the 27th split, trying to head through that ridge cut to 75. I-75 construction work still causing problems between Bonnie Oaks Drive and the Ottawa exit there between mile marker 7 and 10. They do have some lanes of travel blocked. headed both north and southbound. Here's some of the backup. You can see northbound 75. This is backup right there at Shallowford Road. And that traffic starts to pick up again once you pass that Bonnie Oaks Drive Volkswagen exit. Crews working to get accidents out of your way, East 3rd at Hampton. Also watch out for one on Signal Mountain Road at Muncie. From the US 101 Information Center, it's Mo with your Local 3 traffic.
Thank you, Mo. Be safe, everybody. One of the most hotly contested races for County Commission is for the District 6 seat. Democratic incumbent David Sharp is running for re-election against Republican challenger Ruth Jeannot.
Liam Collins is following that race for us and joins us live now in the North Shore. Liam.
Yeah, hey David, Cindy, this is the race that covers most of North Chattanooga and the city of Red Bank. Incumbent Commissioner David Sharp is looking to get a second term covering the seat. He's running as an advocate for public education and expanding affordable housing. He's facing Red Bank City Commissioner Ruth Jeannot, who was the first female mayor of the city of Red Bank. She's running on school safety and for lower taxes. Whoever wins will be on the commission for the first phase of the controversial Lookout Stadium in the South Side. If that project passes City Council, here's where they both said they stand on that issue.
I trust Mayor Coppinger and I trust the commission, and I'm sure they've done due diligence, but we'll talk about that if I'm elected, and it's a done deal. So, you know, it's really a moot point.
When we invested in Volkswagen years ago, we didn't take the steps then that we needed to take to adequately produce the infrastructure needed to satisfy the demands that were coming. We can't make that mistake twice, and this is a vote in that direction.
Polls are open here until 8 tonight. You can find your polling location inside the Local 3 News app. Now, next at 5:30, both of these candidates say they are strong advocates for public education. Hear what they say is the biggest issue facing Hamilton County schools coming up in just a few minutes. We're live in North Shore tonight. Liam Collins, Local 3 News.
All right, sounds like the wind's picking up a bit there on the North Shore. Ruth Jeannot recently had to distance herself from a series of campaign ads originating from the state Republican Party. She says she had no part in those ads, which claimed Commissioner Sharp wants to eliminate the school resource officer program. Sharp says that's a total lie. In fact, he says he played a major part in every school having a school resource or safety officer. Jeannot said the ads do not represent who I am as a candidate, community leader, and person.
To the Hamilton County School Board in District 8, there was no incumbent on the ballot. Current Chairman Tucker McClendon did not seek re-election.
So, Republican Larry Groen is facing Democrat Katie Perkins, and Greg Glover is here with a preview.
David, Cindy, for one last day, both were out campaigning and both willing to chat about the issues that will be most important to them if they're elected. It's the first time this has been a partisan race, but neither Groen nor Perkins spoke of party politics in these final interviews before the numbers start rolling in. They spoke instead of a long campaign and of meeting and listening to the views of people of the 8th District, which covers Brainerd Hills, Concord, and East Ridge. Groen said he'd knocked on more than 3,400 doors, and many had confirmed his positions.
I've just heard too many stories, some of them horror stories about bullying. I think one of the biggest issues in our schools is a total lack of discipline. I've spoken to I don't know how many people who have pulled their kids out of Hamilton County schools.
Safety is the most important thing. I would like to talk about keeping art programs in schools, but it's hard for me to talk about curriculum or anything like that unless I know and feel that my children are safe going to school.
Both candidates are making a long day of it. Remember, polls are open until 8 p.m. At 5:30, a little more from Perkins and Groen about how they'd operate if they're elected. In the studio, Greg Glover, Local 3 News.
Well, the humidity continues here in the Tennessee Valley.
Yeah, let's check back with Cedric Haynes in the Storm Alert Center. That's one thing that doesn't seem to let up, Cedric.
Yeah, you know, it's the dog days of summer. We're on day 4 of that now officially, but there may be some relief in sight in the not so distant future. We'll talk more about that in just a moment. Outside right now, we have a mix of sun and clouds showing up across the area. Temperatures 89 degrees currently in downtown Chattanooga, but it feels like it's 93 degrees. So we've got a heat index and a little bit of a light breeze out there as well. We're also keeping an eye on the radar. There are a couple of isolated showers and downpours showing up out there. Notice we had some activity kind of moving from south to north today. So that's the direction of where the wind is coming from. So that tells us this moisture is coming in from the Gulf of Mexico and off of the Atlantic Ocean off the southeast coast. So here we go. We got some downpours near the Spencer area as this moves north and east of Van Buren County, and a couple of more down towards portions of Grundy County as well. As we go down to the south, where we're watching a little cluster of heavy rainfall moving from Tryon north, now about to make its way into the Lafayette area. We'll watch this because this could potentially approach portions of the Tennessee Valley as we get towards your Chattanooga area here as we go into the next hour or two if this holds together. Also, another decent little shower showing up just to the south of South Pittsburgh as well as it continues to move on off towards the north. As we go throughout your evening, though, don't expect a ton of rainfall. The chances of rain in any given location are about 20, maybe up to a 30% chance, but really isolated is going to be the key word, and this will not last very long. So even if you do see a downpour, it'll last about 10-15 minutes, and then it will continue to move on off towards the north. But it will stay very warm and muggy out there throughout the evening. So as we look at the surface map, we've got a big dome of high pressure sitting off the southeast coast, giving us that southerly flow. That's a return flow, again, as I mentioned, out of the Gulf of Mexico. So you remember those showers were moving from south to north across the area, very similar to the pattern in the upper levels of the atmosphere. We're also watching a cold front that's stalled out to our north and west. This front is also producing more flooding rains across portions of Kentucky and into West Virginia today. This front will continue to drift to the south and east and affect our rain chances heading into the weekend. But first, let's talk about tonight, because we're going to be seeing our overnight lows dropping down into the lower 70s across the valley, upper 60s in the higher elevations. It's going to stay on the warm and muggy side. And then as we go into your Friday, TGIF to everyone out there, we're looking at these temperatures right around 90 degrees for a high. But again, we'll have that 20 to 30% chance of some of those afternoon pop-up showers and storms. We'll be right around 90 in the valley. We'll be in the upper 80s in the outlying areas across the north and northeast. But overall, temperatures about 90 degrees or so for your high. Let's talk about your latest futurecast here, because it is showing us, again, the isolated storm chances we have today. Those will fade out as we go into tonight. And then as we go into your Friday, we'll return with those isolated storm chances. Better chances for more widespread scattered showers and storms off to our north on Friday. But as we go into the weekend, you'll notice that whole pattern begins to shift back down to the south and east. So we'll see more in the way of coverage of scattered showers and storms across the area Saturday, and that pattern will also continue into your Sunday. So it's not going to be a washout any weekend day, but a better chance of those scattered showers and storms showing up in your neighborhood. Let's talk about that weekend in particular. For your Saturday, hot and humid conditions, highs around 89 for a high. And again, we'll have that 50% chance of those scattered showers and storms. Same thing for your Sunday, scattered showers and storms. So not a washout, but yes, have the rain gear nearby. If you have any outdoor plans, have a plan B to move it inside if you have to, any of those storms kind of visit your neighborhood. As we talk about the rainfall totals, notice for the next couple of days, not a ton of rain, but then we start to see the greens showing up as we get into the weekend and heading into next week. That's an indication of heavier rainfall totals. So while it will not be heavy rain everywhere, there could be some isolated spots that get some maybe some low-lying flooding beginning to develop, some street flooding. So we'll keep an eye on that. Here's the good news, though. Very humid conditions stick around as we go throughout the weekend. Even into next week, we're going to be looking at the very humid conditions. But what is this? A stronger cold front showing up to the north and west of us. That will drift into the area as we get towards the second half of next week, ushering in drier, less humid air and slightly cooler air as we get towards the end of next week. So fingers crossed, we may see our first somewhat impactful front finally moving back into the area. Here's your Storm Alert 7-day forecast. 91 for us today, Friday, for a chance of those pop-up showers and storms. Better chances of showers and storms for the weekend. Again, scattered, but still, I do think there will be a better coverage of those storms. And then we'll watch that stronger front potentially by the middle of next week with some cooler, less humid air by next weekend.
Cedric, thank you. And coming up, Hamilton County Schools makes child health a top priority. Hamilton County students return to class next Wednesday.
Latrice Curry takes a look at how the school system is keeping your child's health at the top of their list and what you can do to help make the year go more smoothly.
Hamilton County school leaders say they are starting the new school year off as normal, hoping there won't be any interruptions from COVID like the past couple of years. I spoke to Marissa Moyers, the manager of the nurse program for the Hamilton County Department of Education during a recent back-to-school health webinar. She says that means making sure everything is properly sanitized.
You know, we're over sanitizing probably all of our equipments and our sport equipments and all of those things, cleaning and disinfecting.
But to make that work, doctors say parents and students have to do their part, and that means not going to school or events when they are sick.
If we can just all do the things we know that help, hand washing, wear a mask if we need to, and to be mindful of exposing other people to not just COVID, but flu and RSV and tons of other viruses that will have them out of school and sick for a week.
We will monitor positive cases. We'll, for staff and students, if there's a situation that occurs, we may have to delay or postpone some games, but we're starting off. We're just asking people to be mindful of the social circumstances. And if they're sick, don't go to the basketball game, don't go to the football game.
If cases rise, Moyer says while school districts can no longer mandate masks, they will put mitigation strategies in place if needed.
We will be tracking and asking teachers and students to keep home those 5 days. I can't make them. I can't mandate it, but we encourage them to stay home for that 5 days if they're positive.